जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। शृण्वता स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो भद्राणि विध्नोति सुहृत्सताम्। Hare Krishna, everybody. So today we're continuing the discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, sorry, the verse is, yeah. We're continuing the discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, titled The Renunciation of Kardama Muni. We are in verse 33. 33 verse. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam kalam kavim trivratam lokapalam atmanubhutyanugata prapancham swachanda shaktim kapilam prapadye. Once again verse. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam kalam kavim trivratam lokapalam atmanubhutyanugata prapancham swachanda shaktim kapilam prapadye. Synonyms: Param, transcendental; Pradhanam, supreme; Purusham, person; Mahantam, who is the origin of the material world; Kalam, who is time; Kavim, fully cognizant; Vritam, three modes of material nature; Lokapalam, who is the maintainer of all the universes; Atma, in himself; Anubhutya, by internal potency; Anugata, dissolved; Prapancham, whose material manifestations; Swachanda, independently; Shaktim, who is powerful; Kapilam, to Lord Kapila; Prapadye, I surrender. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhechara Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and element of time, who is fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestations after their dissolution. Purport: the six opulences, wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are indicated here by Kardama Muni, who addresses Kapila Muni, his son, as Param. The word Param is used in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the phrase Param Satyam to refer to the Samam Bonam, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param is explained further by the next word, Pradhanam, which means the chief, the origin, the source of everything, Sarva Karana Karanam. Brahma Samhita 5.1. The cause of all causes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not formless. He is Purusham, or the enjoyer, the original person. He is the time element and is all cognizant. He knows everything, past, present, and future, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, I know everything, present, past, and future, in every corner of the universe. The material world, which is moving under the spell of the three modes of nature, is also a manifestation of his energy. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shuyate. Everything that we see is an interaction of his energies. Swatar Upanishad 6.8, quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 13 chapters, verse 65 purport. Parasya Brahmana Shaktis Tatedam Akilam Jagat. This is the version of the Vishnu Purana. We can understand that whatever we see is an interaction of the three modes of material nature. But actually, it is all an interaction of Lord's energy. Lokapalam is actually the maintainer of all living entities. He is one. Sorry. Lokapalam is actually the maintainer of all living entities. Nityo Nityanam is the chief of all living entities. He is one, but he maintains many, many living entities. God maintains all other living entities, but no one can maintain God. That is his Swachhanda Shakti. He is not dependent on others. Someone may call him himself independent, but he is still dependent on someone higher. The personality of Godhead, however, is absolute. There is no one higher than or equal to him. Kapila Muni appeared as the son of Kardama Muni. But because Kapila is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kardama Muni offered respectful obeisances unto him with full surrender. Another word in this verse is very important. Atmanubhutyanugata prapancham. The Lord descends either as Kapila or Rama, Narasimha or Varaha, and whatever forms he assumes in the material world are all manifestations of his own personal internal energy. They are never forms of material energy. The ordinary living entities who are manifested in this material world have bodies created by the material energy. But when Krishna or anyone of his expansions or parts of the expansions descends on this material world, although he appears to have a material body, his body is not material. He always has a transcendental body. But fools and rascals who are called mudhas consider him one of them, and therefore they deride him. They refuse to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they cannot understand him. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vajananti mam mudaha. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 11. Those who are rascals and fools deride me. When God descends in a form, this does not mean that he assumes his form with the help of the material energy. He manifests his spiritual form as he exists in his spiritual kingdom. Sorry. Once again, good morning to everybody. So we'll offer some prayers and have further discussion. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I think I'll just take a step back. So this is in continuation of the chapter, basically unveiling the renunciation of Kardama Muni. And the previous verse and this verse are in a way, in the previous verse, the verse 32, Kardama Muni was depicting the quote-unquote spiritual personal form and kind of glorifying this the spiritual personal form of the Lord. And here is in a way kind of glorifying how Lord through his various energies, Shaktis, the Bahiranga Shaktis, in the previous it was more of the Antaranga Shakti, and in this verse it is more of Bahiranga Shakti, how he kind of manifests the creation and how again he dissolves. In a way, it's kind of Kardama Muni is giving us the complete picture of Krishna and how his interaction and how entire cosmic creation, either it be the spiritual world where he is eternally present, or the material creation which manifests and unmanifests and manifests and unmanifests as Mahavishnu is breathing, is everything is a complete picture. In essence, what he's basically saying in this verse is nothing, there's nothing that exists outside of the Lord. Everything is Lord. And I'll try to the inspiration for this discussion is partly obviously Srila Prabhupada has kind of compacted a lot of various thoughts in his purport, and obviously the inspiration is from there, but the kind of detailing and all of that, I've taken some inspiration from Vallabhacharya's purport. So the breakdown of the discussion we are going to have is predominantly based on how Vallabhacharya has commented on this verse. And we'll in between we'll be kind of also seeing how Prabhupada is kind of helping us understand those concepts through his purport. So Vallabhacharya basically broke down this verse into three sections. The first two lines of the verse, which is Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kavim Trivritam Lokapalam as one section, and then the Atmanubhutyanugata Prapancham as the second, and then the Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadya. So it's breaking down of the verse into three sections. So we'll go one by one, section by section, and then see what Srila Prabhupada is also helping us understand through his purport, and how Vallabhacharya is kind of bringing some beautiful interaction that is happening between Kardama Muni and Kapila Dev here. We might see that this is for some it might appear that this is just a kind of for lack of better vocabulary that I possess, a kind of dry philosophy that Kardama Muni is saying, and there's nothing to relish here, but the greatness of these acharyas is that even in these verses, which for mere mortals like us, which might appear like a dry philosophy, they bring out this unique interaction and the sweet interaction that is happening between the Lord and his devotee. So we'll also see that how Vallabhacharya is kind of helping us. So Vallabhacharya says that Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kamim Trivitam Lokapalam. So by saying this, so in the previous verse, we just understood that Kardama Muni glorified the personal form of the Lord, and now is glorifying the other aspect, which is the energies and the creation and how all of that is still the Lord. So by saying this, he's saying about the creation and how different elements that are needed. So there is Lord, and then there are the Shaktis, which is the internal and the external manifestation of his Shakti, which becomes the creation. And so Vallabhacharya is helping us understand that how the same Lord and this creation and the different elements that are needed in this creation are still the Lord. So he's saying he is the person. Srila Prabhupada also translates this, the Purusham, by saying that Purusham is there, first of all, establishing, which Srila Prabhupada also says in the beginning of actually the purport. The Srila Prabhupada starts this purport by that. The word Param is used in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the phrase Param Satyam. Is further explained as Pradhanam. And then he says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not formless, he is Purusham. So first of all, establishing the fact that he's a person. He's a person who is origin, which is Pradhanam, which is the Pradhanam is translated as the primary element, like the first thing. He is the origin of Mahantam. Mahantam is translated as the Mahatattva, which we have kind of completed that whole section of the creation, the Sarga and Visarga, especially the Visarga part, and how there was creation, and then the Lord entered into the creation to kind of agitate, and then and he says that as Kalam, you're also the Kalam, because as time you're actually, as the time you're the agitator of the Prakriti, And then he says that, okay, now you're the origin person, and then you are a person, you are the origin of the Mahatattva, and you are also the time. And it just not stops there, but and Srila Prabhupada has translated Kavi as all cognizant, and Vallabhacharya translates Kavi as slightly different, as he says Kavi is as Lord Brahma, as Lord Brahma, you're the presiding deity of this entire universe, and as Brahmas, you're there in every creation that is taking place. As Kavi, so you're also the Kavi, because you're as Brahma, you're the presiding deity. And not only that, but you're also the three modes of material nature, because as Srila Prabhupada explains to us in the purport, he says, we can understand that whatever we see is an interaction of the three modes of material nature. But actually, it is all an interaction of the Lord's energy. So you might see one way of seeing it is the three modes of material nature kind of acting independently. But in reality, the three modes of material nature are nothing but the interaction of the Lord's energy. So he himself is also the three modes of material nature, because he is not different from his energies. And not just that, but you're also the Lokapalam, because you are, is are the or is or are the maintainer of all the living entities. In one sense, to understand the Lokapalam is that he is through our direct connection as Paramatma, he is kind of sustaining us. And not only that, but as through his various agents like the Devatas and every other that's kind of being supplied to us as the Devatas, is also maintaining the entire living entities that is needed for our sustenance and maintenance. So through this, and as we have also just seen, Srila Prabhupada also tells us that everything that is happening, we can see that as interaction of three modes of material nature that is happening. But actually, it is all an interaction of the Lord's energy. So what Srila Prabhupada and Vallabhacharya are helping us understand through this is, it's not just that the personality of the Lord is just sitting somewhere and having a merry time. We might consider that, oh, he's not present with us, but he's just sitting somewhere. And as Krishna also helps us understand, which in one of his classes, Srila Prabhupada recently that I was hearing, Prabhupada was saying that it's very easy to be Krishna consciousness. Somebody who is drinking water because Krishna says, I'm the taste of water. As you're drinking the water, you think, oh, this is the taste of water. And Prabhupada was saying that nobody, like there's no living entity that can sustain without drinking water. And so it's kind of easy for every living entity, as long as you have that knowledge to kind of perceive and understand that everything that is present here is Lord himself. And as Krishna also says that anything that is magnificent is but a spark of his splendor. So anybody who is excelling in their careers or doing something wonderful, we can see how the Lord is kind of empowering them. So it's so beautiful through this understanding or the knowledge of having how the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his through his various energies and all of that, he is present with us. It makes us much more conscious of seeing the Lord around us, and not just having this feeling that the Lord is just sitting in one corner of the creation, in his abode or in his temples. But it kind of helps us understand in a much personalized way of that, oh, everything around me, everything that is needed for my sustenance, everything that I'm seeing around here is nothing but Lord. And in fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur kind of takes a little step forward. He says this, you are the material universe since you are the antaryami of it. And he says, because the whole universe is created by your Maya Shakti, under your will, and because you're not different from your Shakti, and because you, the cause, are not different from the effect, this world of Maya is your form, though it is not the pleasing form. For somebody who has this understanding of the loving interaction that the Lord does, will not be satisfied just with that knowledge of, oh, yeah, this is all Lord. But because you want to experience that sweet loving relationship with the Lord. But so just knowing this two lines of Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam, Kalam Kavim Tripatam Lokapalam. So just having this understanding that, oh, everything is everything that is being created is nothing but the Lord will not satisfy us. And then Vallabhacharya then goes and says, Atmanubhutyanugata Prapancham. So when Kardamoni is saying, so first of all, Kardamoni has specifically, categorically specified that, oh, everything that is being created is nothing but you through your various agents and various Shaktis. And now he's saying that Atmanubhutyanugata Prapancham. In next line, he's saying that at the end of creation, you dissolve everything into yourself. So there is everything that is created, which is him himself, and he is here. And at the once when it is, because as a cycle of creation and dissolution that happens, at the end of creation, then everything gets dissolved into himself as Mahavishnu. And Vallabhacharya then brings out this beautiful um, interaction that is happening between Kardama Muni and Kapila Dev, and saying that Kardama Muni, when he said that, Vallabhacharya says that he got confused. How is it that it's like it is me, but when it is time for sleeping, I dissolve myself into myself, and that creation is also me. So it's like I am me, but the sleep is me, and at the time of sleep, which is me, I am myself dissolving myself into myself, which kind of for 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 a for a mind like me doesn't make any sense if you kind of want to break it down in a logical sense. If you have to dissolve something, like if I have to dissolve this hand into this, then these two should be separate entities. I cannot dissolve something into itself if it is the same thing. So Kardamoni was at that point where you're saying, okay, am I contradicting myself, or what is happening here? I'm saying in one part where I'm saying that everything that is being created and the process of creation and the dissolution is you, because as Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur was also saying, because you, the cause, are not different from the effect. So it's like the creation, who is the cause, the Lord is not different from the effect, which is the creation. So the creator is not different from the creation. So I've specified that the creator and creation are same. And now I'm saying at the point of dissolution, it's still the same. And in that confusion, then he says this verse, Swachanda Shaktim Kapilam Prapadya. And in that kind of confusion that is kind of reeling his mind around, and then he says, Oh, my Lord Kapila, I offer my obeisances unto you, because this can only be possible because of your Swachanda Shakti. So he's saying that I might be this great son of Lord Brahma, who is even qualified to be in the position of your father. Again, by your grace, I'm privileged to be in this position of being father of Lord Kapila Dev, who is going to extol the glory of Sankhya philosophy and everything that is to be there. But even myself, I can't understand anything. How you're there, but how you create, and at the time of dissolution, you kind of dissolve everything into yourself. Even for such a personality like me, who can be glorified as knower of everything and kind of in this amazing position, I cannot understand anything of what is happening here, because everything happens just because of your sweet will, Swachanda Shakti. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then has beautifully also explained this whole idea of Swachanda Shakti, of the sweet will, through the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Vedya. So Kardamoni is explaining that Lord and his Shaktis are non-different. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained to us through the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda, they are Bheda, they're different, but they're also a Bheda. And how do you reconcile that is the whole concept of Achintya, because that's not something that you can. So if you break down Achintya, it's kind of, Chintya is something that you can contemplate and kind of logically break down something. And if you just add then it becomes the opposite, where you kind of, as Srila Prabhupada translates that as inconceivably oneness and together. So you can't conceive any of that, because for somebody who kind of can only think from the standpoint of, if it is there, like for example, if I take these AirPods, if the AirPods and the charging case are different, so I can dissolve this back and close it. If this is entirely one single entity of having in like in a Play-Doh form, then when I break it, it's separate. It's not the same thing again, and then I dissolve it back. But here, as Kardamon is saying, the Lord is always there. It's not that when creation happens, the Lord kind of breaks himself. And as Ishopina says, he's always Purna. The Lord is Purna, and his creation is also Purna. He is full. This creation is also full. It's not that when the creation happens, some part of Lord just breaks down. He becomes 80% of the Krishna he is. It doesn't work like that. He is always full, and he is always complete, and the creation is always complete. But when the dissolution happens, and then the complete kind of gets merged into the complete, and that's in a way bewildering. And kind of as Kardamon is also explaining to us, it just happens because of Swachanda Shakti. It just happens because of the sweet will of the Lord. And all we can do, as Kardamon is kind of showing to us, is we might want to kind of break it down. And in some cases, I'll also we'll also discuss why is it also important to kind of understand the subtleties of how the subtleties of the philosophy. But in one sense, there is no point in kind of understanding, because we can never understand. And all we can do is just say Kapilam Prapadye. Just say that, oh my Lord Kapila, I offer my obeisances unto you. But in one sense, it is also important to kind of understand the glory of the Lord as being this omnipotent person who is complete in himself. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. So he's complete in every way. Why is it important? It is important in two ways. One is important because when we hear of this omnipotent greatness of the Lord, who is always present, and through his creation, everything that is happening is just kind of contemplating on that fact of him being the Lokapalam, maintainer of all living entities, through the direct connection that he has of Paramatma and through the various agents. It helps us kind of become more conscious of the love that he has for all of us. That is one way. And it also kind of sheds the light on these various different pastimes. Like, why does Narsimhadev have to appear in that specific form of being Narsimhadev? And why does he only have to appear from the pillar if he is this if he has this Swachanda Shakti, where he can do anything that he wants with his sweet will? Why does he still have to constrain himself to only appear in that form? When you kind of understand that is only because he wanted to fulfill the promise that was given by Lord Brahma, and because he loves Lord Brahma and he doesn't want to kind of negate the promise that Lord Brahma gave. So just for that reason, it's not that he was constrained. Even when Narasimhadev was appearing in that form, through that medium of pillar, he is still the Lord who is Swachanda Shakti. He still has the free will. He can do anything that he wants to do. And through that, anything that he wants to do, he has chosen to come in that way because he wanted to fulfill the promise of the devotee. So it helps us by understanding how the Lord is Swachanda, but how does he by in a way, kind of, for lack of again a better term, constraining himself to kind of function, or in that way, like why is Damodar scared of Mother Yashoda? Doesn't make sense. It's just, and as Acharya explained, it was not he was not acting that he was scared of Mother Yashoda. He was really scared of Mother Yashoda. So nothing makes sense, but because it makes sense, because again, it's the Swachanda Shakti. It is the sweet free will of the Lord, where he is placing himself in that situation because of the love. And it also helps us understand that of the greatness of these devotees, that here is this person who can do anything that he wants, But these devotees kind of does not, in a way, kind of does not care about that side of the Lord where he is this omnipotent, magnanimous, huge form of the Lord. But all they care about is, did he eat on time? Like as Mother Yashoda, did he eat on time? Oh, he's only protected from Putana because I'm praying. Or what will happen if he goes out and he's not coming back on time? Or what will happen if Vishwamitra comes and takes him? There's no way that he can protect himself. So it kind of helps us understand the glory of these devotees, where of these devotees like Dasharath Maharaj and even Kardama Muni, various others, Mother Yashoda, Vrajavasis, everybody that is there, kind of still kind of mm, knowing that they all know that it's not something that Dasharath Maharaj doesn't knew all of this, but it kind of, in a way, again, it's the Swachanda Shakti of the Lord, where by his sweet will, he's placed them in a position where they kind of cannot see him in that light. So it also kind of unveils the greatness of these devotees, where even though knowing all of that, they still kind of see him as being, as Srila Prabhupada was saying, the Lord is never dependent on anybody. But in the stories that we see, it's again contradicting. It's again the Achintya Bheda Bheda. So just this understanding of this Swachanda Shakti and the Achintya Bheda Bheda kind of can help us understand in so many ways why is the Lord running around Mother Yashoda and crying for milk when he's not dependent on anybody. He can just call and then the milk should appear in front of him. But it's again the Swachanda Shakti. So it's and I'll just end with this. So in one of his classes on Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Prabhupada says this: knowledge given by Paramatma from within the core of heart is explained by the modern scientist as intuition. They do not know where from the intuition is coming, and that is coming from God. Therefore, it is stated Matta, from me, Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So even for something which can be kind of lame as intuition, once we have this understanding as Srila Prabhupada is giving, it is nothing but the knowledge that the Paramatma is giving. Then even such mundane things as an intuition, which we can appear, which you can categorize as something that doesn't have any source, but when you kind of understand with this knowledge, it makes it, anytime you're kind of in that situation of intuition, you can kind of go back and say that, oh my Lord, thank you. You're still kind of, you care for me and you're giving me this knowledge because I needed this at this point of time. So this philosophy not only kind of helps us understand the greatness of the Lord, not only understands the greatness of the devotees, but also makes us much more reciprocal for all the love and appreciation and the assistance that the Lord is giving to us for not for our day-to-day sustenance. So that's where I'm going to end. I'm sorry I went a little over time, more than four minutes, but if there are any corrections or comments, the floor is open.
Oh, thank you so much, Prabhu. It was a lot of technical, but I think the way Vallabhacharya analyzed it, or I mean, it was very nice. So, yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it was nice. I was reading that verse again, translation, so it makes sense. Yeah, it's not a technical. Mm, thank you.
Hare Krishna. If nothing else, then we'll end it here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bhagavatam ki jai.